What's up YouTube, welcome to the first ride impression of the Pulsar NS200, the all new latest variant. So if you ask me what all the things that got upgraded for this Pulsar NS200 compared to the previous version, I can right away tell you that. This comes with an upside down suspension, 12 channel ABS, updated brakes, the rims are new, so that means it is more lighter, the unsprung weight is less. Apart from that, the bike is almost same, but the riding feel has changed a little bit because of the change in the suspension. So before we get into the technical things of the motorcycle, let's talk about the aesthetics. So first of all, I had to say that the NS200 is always a beautiful looking motorcycle, a very good looking motorcycle in any angle. I have to say that. If you look at the front section, definitely this head section is a head turner, no doubt about it. And coming to this panel, I like the 200 written over there, even though that doesn't come so good in the camera, but it looks good in person. And also the tank, there are a little bit of paints here and there, but it's not overdone. It looks very nice. And there you can see the 200cc engine. And coming on to the rear section, we have a good looking tire hugger and a beautiful looking tail section. And this panel also, which is written NS200, also looks good. And the stock tail section looks like a tail tidy, so I don't think somebody has to do a tail tidy for this motorcycle. So NS200 actually looks good in stock condition itself. So that's the thing from the outside. Now let me talk about my small experience after riding this motorcycle for some time. Today actually it's a first ride impression. I've ridden like 50 to 100 kilometers. First of all, I got a chance to ride this motorcycle on the track, got to know how this new suspension works. So the major difference is the suspension has gone a little stiffer. That means the control on the motorcycle is very nice. So actually you think about it, you'll be able to do that on the track. The unsprung weight is less, so it is much easy to flick from one side to the other. So the suspension has made this motorcycle more onto the track side. And another update is the brake. The brakes are really nice now. And I have to say that riding on the track, the ABS was not meddling too much. At first I thought it was turned off, but it wasn't turned off. I came on to the dirt section and tried the brakes and got to know that the ABS is still working. So I like the braking. The braking is sharp, it is nice, and the ABS is also not meddling unnecessarily with the rider's logic. And coming onto the seat is actually well cushioned. You can see that it's good. The pillion seat is not as cushioned as the rider seat. You can see that it's not as cushioned as the rider seat, and the grab rail is nicely placed. It won't be interrupting the pillion in any manner. So when we get on the motorcycle, we have a little bit of a sporty riding stance, not too much. If this is my normal riding stance, I have a little bit of sportiness to my upper body, almost kind of planted foot. By the way, it's a dirt road, so I cannot completely say that, but I have to say that I don't have any height issues on this motorcycle. And almost all the switches on the handlebar, everything looks nice. Everything feels good except this particular piece, this indicator. I am not really liking this kind of an indicator. A conventional way of an indicator would have been nice. So if I have to walk through all the switches on the handlebar, here we have the pass switch, the high beam and the low beam, indicator horn, and on this side we have the kill switch and the ignition. That's all. And when we turn on the dial, I really like the fact that Bajaj actually is sticking to this analog tacho setup, and you can see that the red line is at 9.5k RPM. That means the engine wanted to rev it hard, so it's really a nicely high revving engine. We'll come back to the engine at a little later point of time to walk you through all the things over here. Here you have all the warnings and all, and the tachometer here, the fuel level indicator, the gear position indicator, time. You have odometer, 2 trip meters, distance to empty, so things like that. And you have the speedometer over here. So let's go for a ride. Alright, we are on highway, so let's fire the engine. Actually this has got a very nice exhaust note. Basically this engine is very enthusiastic. You can actually rev this motorcycle to the hard. In the sense, this has a red line limiter which is shown in the dial as 9.5k RPM, but I feel we can take it up to 10.5. That is the actual cutoff of this motorcycle. But certainly what I feel after riding this motorcycle is that this motorcycle actually loves to rev. Even when I was riding on the track, this motorcycle is actually very stress free. You take it to the core, 10.5k RPM. I mean, all the time the motorcycle has no other issues, and it's very refined as well. No unwanted rattling and all. Of course, this motorcycle will give you a feedback that it's an internal combustion engine. Otherwise, it's completely stress free. So that's the feedback from the engine. And if you have to ask me how it feels to ride this motorcycle, so there are certain motorcycles where you feel that you're sitting on top of the motorcycle and riding it. So you might have this question that, is there any motorcycle where we feel that you are sitting under the motorcycle and riding it? You know, on some motorcycle we'll get a feel that we are sitting inside the motorcycle and riding it, so the connection is all different. But on this one, what I'll say is that we get a feel that we are sitting over the motorcycle and riding it. And also with the new suspension setup, what I'll say is that the suspension is actually onto a stiffer side, and it's good. The stability is good. It gives a lot of confidence. So the front suspension is actually onto a stiffer side and the rear suspension is onto a softer side. So combinedly, I'll say that this motorcycle has a very neutral feel from the suspension. And yes, of course, I got a chance to take it to some off-roads. Not intentionally, I wanted to take some good photos. So we have taken it to some off-roads and there are no ground clearance issues. And as well, there are no heating issues. It's a 200cc motorcycle, but still there are no heating issues. And the braking is actually very nice. I really loved it. Braking is fantastic. I would say that whatever this motorcycle can do in terms of engine performance, the braking is one step ahead of it. And if you ask me about the clutch feel, I'll say that the clutch is lighter. It's much easy to use and the gear shifting is also fine, very precise, and it doesn't take too much of effort to change the gears. And now let's look at the ownership aspects of this motorcycle. So ex-showroom, this is 1,47,000, which is actually 6,000 more than the previous variant. And what I'll say is that with the kind of equipment, that is the used Defox that you're getting, that hike isn't bad. And to talk about the service, the motorcycle has first 3 services as free service, and from then on the paid service costs something like 900 to 1,200 rupees, which is actually much affordable if you compare all the 200cc motorcycles. And mileage claim from Bajaj is 35 km per liter, but I believe that if you actually ring it hard and ride all the time, you might be getting something like 30 or 32. But if you are riding it very linear and almost all the time in that 80 to 90 km mark, then probably you might be getting a better mileage as well. So let's come to the verdict. So in my opinion, if you're someone who wanted to rev your bike, you see that, you want to overtake and you want to do this, if you are that kind of a fun-loving guy, then probably this is the motorcycle for you. The engine is completely stress-free. It actually asks you to rev the motorcycle. In that way, it is too good. But if you are someone who just wanted to commute from A to B and you don't want that much of a powerful motorcycle, in my opinion, what I'll say is that you go and check out the sibling of this motorcycle, the NS160. You'll be loving him. So that's my personal take on this motorcycle, and if you wanted me to keep this motorcycle for a longer review, let me know in the comment section. I can do that. So I hope this video is helpful for you, and as always, show some love in the form of likes and comments. See you in the next video. Until then, bye bye. I don't have an open road today, so let's pull it hard.